Stadium was a huge ballpark, and then so we were at one level below street level. So, and the only open part of the ballpark was from left center to right center, and the wind used to blow in because that was the only place the wind could come. And in the summer it came and the air got heavy. You hit the ball in the gap. It was 386 in the gap. You had to hit line drives there. So he made the right baseball. He's a great baseball man. So he just he stacked us with a bunch of guys that can play in the field and run like jackrabbits.
For you personally, what made this one different from when you played elsewhere? This championship.
Well, it was the greatest group of guys, 25 players that I played with. There was no egos on the team, and I played in New York and won in New York, and there was always a lot of high drama there. There was never high drama here in St. Louis. Everybody was pulled. It was a blue collar team. That's what I think that's the best description. Just regular guys. No one wanted to hit the 8-run home run and get the headline. We all chipped away and helped each other, and it was really just a fun group.
Kind of to that point, we just got done talking to Glenn Brummer. How do you remember his steal of home?
I remember screaming, "What the hell are you doing?" And I remember George was up, I think, and George was like, must have saw him out of the corner of his eye, and George just kind of put his front foot away in foul territory, let Brummer slide right by him. I think George had, I think he had 2 strikes on him too.
David Green.
It was David Green?
Yeah.
I think he had 2 strikes on him. I mean, you just don't do that. But when you're hot, you're hot.
With I just love the idea of there's been so many great teams that haven't won. When you win the 1982 Cardinals, that's yours forever.
Right.
Can you just put into words the idea it's been 40 years, you all can get in this room and be like, we friggin' did it. We won the World Series. It's ours forever.
Well, also too, it's the Cardinals have the second most World Championships, most in the National League, and a lot of history. You got the Gas House Gang. I mean, I grew up a Cardinal fan, so I knew about Rogers Hornsby. I knew about the Gas House Gang, and I knew about Red and Marty Marion and Stan Musial, and then the 60s. Of course, I was almost in high school in '67. And I think we were the 14th championship. I'm not sure. I don't know the chronological order. But to know that we had won the World Series, and now we're part of that group, the Gas House Gang, and so, it's very prideful. And I'm sure my teammates feel the same way.
Tommy Hurst said he would put that infield up against any in the history of baseball defensively. How great were you guys defensively on that infield? Well,
you had the greatest fielding shortstop, I think, in the history of the game. I've not seen anybody play shortstop like he did. And, we got him from San Diego, and we played San Diego 12 times. And, you really can't. Ozzie would make some great plays there, but maybe you'd go a whole series and he would not have a tough play. And but to play with him every day, he did things that were just phenomenal. And I still believe that in order to win, you got to be strong up the middle. Catcher, second short, center fielder. McGee brought us that in center field. Tommy Herr was one of the smartest players. I think any infield, if you're a great infielder, you've got to have great hands, soft hands. But I think what separated, which we all did, what separated that was that they were also everybody was intelligent on that infield. It had baseball instincts, didn't throw the wrong base. We were very intelligent, and we really were a very cohesive unit. And then you had AstroTurf. You had to have good defense on AstroTurf. That ball got through quick.
Speaking of AstroTurf, can you share your memories of as soon as the game ended, the fans rushing the field, some of them tearing up the AstroTurf? I don't know if you have.
I don't. I got off that field as fast as I could. We did our thing in the mound. And then we got off the field and got into the clubhouse as fast as possible. I didn't know they ripped up the turf. I had no idea until the next day.
You won an NL MVP here as a first baseman. We've got a guy right now that looks like he's on that same trajectory. What have you seen from Paul Goldschmidt this year?
Well, this is the bad thing today about the game. You only play St. Louis out of division. You only play 6 games instead of 12. And it's hard to, I don't see him play enough. He's having a phenomenal year. I got my eye on him. I mean, how can you not? I look in the paper every day and see what he's doing, and he's just having a great year. I know that I have friends here that are good baseball people, and they tell me that he's quite a player, and he's quite a first baseman too.
Kind of mentioned this, but the Cardinals and Mets don't get to play each other that much. But they have kind of reinvigorated a little bit of a rivalry, and we saw a good one in the 80s. Do you think, especially if they were to play in the playoffs, it would be a really good thing again? Because we saw there's some passion there for sure.
Well, I think, the playoffs are, Red Shandy's told me when we got into the World Series, and he said, the best teams get there for a reason. They're the best teams, the final best. So now there's so many bad teams in baseball today. You kind of cut the chafe away and you get to the real deal. So I'm looking forward to the postseason. I think the teams that are going to get there and be tough. It's going to be tough to be the National League champion this year. The Dodgers are very formidable. Mets are very formidable. Atlanta. This division here, Central, is not the strongest division in the National League, but in a short series, anything goes.
Last thing for me, because I would regret it if I didn't ask you, what's the ratio when somebody comes up to you on the street? You already know what I'm going to ask. Baseball to Seinfeld. What's the ratio of what they ask you about?
Well, the Seinfeld's kind of diminished.
Oh, really?
But there's still people that they won't come up to me and say, can I help you move or whatever.
Nice game, pretty boy.
But yeah. Now it's, I saw your episode last night.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, good. I get a paycheck. Thank you for telling me that.